Es geht los, Leute. Herzlich willkommen zu Ubisoft Forward.
This is Ubisoft.
This is Ubisoft.
Explore our worlds.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf, but there's no time to waste. So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
The illegal paintings spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people as was originally believed, but the were to have links with the terrorist group DedSec.
Okay. Die haben manchmal kurze Lags im Stream. Das kommt nicht von mir.
Authorities recommend not to approach the individual.
First, they came for the foreigners, and I didn't
Watch Dogs Legion sieht auch so geil aus. Ich glaube, wir werden das auch anzocken.
Then they came for the protesters.
Hättet ihr Bock? Schreibt's in die Kommentare.
I did not speak out because I was not a protester.
Yo.
Then they came for the journalists, and I did not speak out because I was not a journalist. And then they came for street artists, but I did not speak out because I am not a street artist. I realised that eventually they'd come for me, and there would be no one left to speak for me.
Sieht auf jeden Fall ziemlich gut aus, das Game. Macht bestimmt Riesenlaune.
After a long night, London is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily armed Albion.
Well. Welcome to the Resistance. Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
But the disappearance of the criminal
You could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver. He has no criminal record, but is currently believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents.
Reclaim your future. Gewinne deine Zukunft
I'm
zurück.
Clint Hawking.
Clint has been a longtime creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team. And then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec? Yeah, right, and I'm Che Guevara. You're done.
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Voll geil.
Our London town. A modern metropolis.
Vor allem London ist so eine geile Stadt. Wenn die das grafisch gut hinkriegen, wird diesmal Watch Dogs echt geil werden.
And one night to tear it all down.
Oh my god.
Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know,
Alter.
but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her.
Die ist am coolsten, die Oma.
Can become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes.
Badly.
Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone.
Das ist cool.
Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come in, you side-eyed shitboy.
Jesus Christ, what is that thing?
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can
Memo,
get the defense
let's
minister
get
on
out.
the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must.
Hey.
Criminals running our streets. Illegals threatening our families. The police commissioner himself. Assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
That put another hair on my chest.
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
Ja, das war klar. Der Kneipenschläger.
He does have a slight drinking problem, though. And he's passed out. Ah, well, we'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Keanu Reeves. No way.
It's almost crass to call him a hitman.
Die haben die Musik von Dings reingetan, von John Wick.
Some might even call him an artist.
Alter, den würde ich die ganze Zeit spielen. Scheiß auf die anderen Charaktere.
Here's the bastard responsible.
Danke für den Follow, Abo.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Yeah, this is
Not everyone in
the
London is
new
a
Watch Dogs
legendary
game.
assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero. So get out there, find the best recruits, and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
Looks really cool though.
Alright, we know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And
Oh
now
ja,
it's
wir
time
haben
for a
lange
deep
darauf
dive into
gewartet
the
und
world
jetzt
of
ist es
Vikings.
soweit.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time.
Krass, Alter, dass die auch wirklich nach Norwegen gereist sind, so so ein Gefühl dafür zu bekommen.
Majestic, and just coming by boat in England and
Auch
see
so auf
those
einem
rolling
Langschiff und
green
so
hills full of
gesegelt,
sheep,
echt krass.
full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, you know, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available.
Also politischer Druck und keine Ressourcen mehr in Norwegen, deswegen müssen sie nach England ziehen.
Obviously in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper.
Und ja, in England sind andere Kulturen und andere Menschen, deswegen müsst ihr euren eigenen Weg durchkämpfen.
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system.
Die mittelalterlichen Waffen
brutality and the intensity of Viking combat.
Haben
Vikings were not only
dazu geholfen, dass die ihr Kampfsystem neu ändern.
When needed. They use basically any sort of tactics
Also zu
they
den
could
Waffen
use
das
to win the
Kampfsystem
battle.
entwickeln.
So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings.
Und so gut wie möglich die Kampfszenen in Szene setzen von den Wikingern.
We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please
Und jetzt
enjoy
sehen wir endlich
this
Gameplay,
deep
Jungs.
dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Alter.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal, to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle.
Echt krass.
The crew will assist you in all your raids, fighting enemies, battering down doors, and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms.
Also eure Truppen können euch helfen, nicht nur im Kampf, sondern beim Türen und Truhen öffnen.
Better tools and new settlers.
Und das ist unser Dorf, das wir aufbauen.
It will serve as a record of the allies you have made and a guide for future opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game.
Also es gibt sehr viele unterschiedliche
Every
Feinde.
archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks.
Wahrscheinlich
while
für
others will
jedes
use
Biom
nearby
dann
objects to
ein
their
Feind
advantage, including
oder
the
ein
bodies of
Anführer.
fallen warriors. To face these attacks, You must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with a Viking harpoon.
Alter.
Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance, or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks. Customize your fighting style as you see fit, and become a legendary Viking warrior. All combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including 2 shields.
Also man kann auch 2 Waffen gleichzeitig tragen, das wussten wir schon. Jetzt Stealth, ganz wichtig.
A Viking must find a way to adapt.
Stealth.
As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes, an unseen hunter among the people. From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England,
Also ihr könnt eure Kapuze aufziehen, um in England ohne zu kämpfen rumzureisen.
Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment.
Es gibt wieder auch legendäre Tiere.
Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement.
Okay, es gibt spezielle Runenorte, die euch stärken können.
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
Okay. Je weiter wir kommen, desto stärker werden die Feinde. Und sie werden zurückkämpfen.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths and England's pagan roots. It will challenge and surprise, with unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs, and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Alter. Ja, das meiste wussten wir schon, aber ich hoffe auf jeden Fall, das aktuelle Gameplay-Material hat euch gefallen.
Anything the franchise has seen before. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today, and that you will love playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad, and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
Okay. Also bevor sie den Stream beenden, wollen sie noch irgendwas zeigen und dass noch viel mehr Spiele kommen werden. Das ist dann wahrscheinlich Far Cry 6, ne? Oder? Ich glaube, das ist Far Cry 6. Ja. Far Cry 6, Leute. Ja.
Fuerzas ultrapenetrantes, estamos cansados de los farsantes, de los...
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Granate.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
Wird's rausziehen.
What are you doing?
Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now.
Alter.
I am El Presidente, which means that
Wo ist das, in Kuba?
You will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy.
Ich sehe es jetzt schon kommen, wir werden den kleinen Jungen spielen und er wird sich dann gegen seinen Vater erheben oder so.
Strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has 2 basic parts. Our people. And you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go.
Er wird die Granate fallen lassen.
You understand now?
fallen lassen. Und dann wegrennen. (18.02.2021), also Anfang nächsten Jahres im Februar. Also Jungs, da bin ich wieder. Ja, ich habe den Stream beendet und die Aufnahme von You Play Forward. Und die haben hier einfach weitergemacht. Ich wusste gar nicht, dass es weitergeht, weil die sich verabschiedet haben. Und ja, wir schauen uns das mal an, ob wir hier irgendwas erfahren können, was im Gameplay Leak nicht zu sehen war.
Love it. Perfect. So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away
wenn
from
du kannst mit deinem Langschiff unter eine Brücke gehen und die Männer tun extra die Haupthalterung, also ich weiß nicht, wie man es nennt, also die Segel oder keine Ahnung, halt das Holz in der Mitte, tun die einfach nach unten. Echt krass.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
Okay, krass. Also mit dem Langschiff kann man jetzt auch der Straße folgen, also dem Questziel.
So, you know, speaking of Viking songs, we have an activity here that's not exactly singing, but kind of related, right?
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and sort of poetry where insults would be thrown back and forth between each other. The idea was to try and have a good insult, but also to have a good rhythm and a good rhyme in there. So it's basically a precursor to rap battles.
Here's the silver. Now begin.
To all those whom I speak, they say Eivor's a clod.
Then you're speaking to fools and their knowledge is flawed.
Well...
How exactly do you go about being successful in one of these?
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
I'm known for my might.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Ja, die machen gerade ein Diss-Battle. Und dann könnt ihr euch entscheiden, was ihr da antworten könnt.
Well, what a surprise! Eivor of the Raven Clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity. So we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor a fishing line, so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to to play into our new health loop, where the player will lose health in the world, and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past. So you actually have to go out and get some supplies. So you'll find mushrooms and some food that you can gather. But here, like,
Okay,
you
auch
can also catch some fish and consume that to
ich mach
regain
den
some
mal ein
health.
bisschen
We
leiser, weil
also
die
will
meisten
sometimes
verstehen
have it
wahrscheinlich eh
in
nichts.
certain quests. So it's a good
Ihr
way to
müsst
sort
jetzt
of chill
Essen
out
finden, weil
on the side of
eure Heilung
the
jetzt
water
nicht
and
mehr so
just,
leicht,
again, take it all in.
euer Lebensbalken heilt jetzt nicht mehr so leicht von alleine. Also ihr müsst für
So
Rationen
this is what we
sorgen.
call one of
Sehr
our
interessant.
offering altars. So the idea is that you find these around the world and you make offerings to it. So it'll take like animal parts
Okay,
and stuff that you
so
can find throughout the world.
wie ich schon in
Here, what
meinem
you're seeing is sort of like a
wie
fancy
ich schon in
version of
meinem
it, where
Assassin's Creed
as you do
Valhalla
your offering, you get
Theorievideo gesagt
interrupted by
habe,
some
diese
kids that basically
ritualischen
come and
Tafeln,
steal your stuff.
das sind anscheinend
So
Opfergaben,
it's just a way for us to sort
die
of
man
showcase
machen
that,
kann,
like, the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and
wo
some
man dann einen
events that are where
Fähigkeitspunkt
to
kriegt.
sort of
Das hatte
dress
ich
up
auch
these moments
gewusst.
and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Yeah, this seemed like a really sort of unexpected turn for what I thought was going to be kind of a simple interaction.
Yeah, and it's really what we were trying to do with these events is to give another dimension to Eivor, other than just, you know, the pure rar Viking or the politician. Because you can imagine at some point that will grow old if you're always telling that version of the character. So it lets us really go into the depth of who is Eivor, what motivates her, how she can interact with the world outside of warfare and politics. And it also showcases like a different facet of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor, so it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through tough times with whatever Rued's been doing to the territory. And so they're just here trying to survive and basically exploit the people that are there to make offerings.
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor wasn't really necessarily upset at them for
Also die
stealing,
Opfergaben
and, you know, after you talk to them, you
war
have the
ein
choice
Trick
of
von den
helping
Kindern, die hier versuchen zu überleben. Und ja, jetzt erzählen die so ihre Geschichte.
Yeah, and this is something we also wanted to do a lot. Like, so here we're doing an event, we do it in quests as well, but we want to give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit, who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can roleplay that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these moments.
Large walkers should do. Provide for small walkers.
Here, large walker.
A necklace?
Yes, it's a St. Martin seal. You're welcome here anytime, large walker. You're one of us now. Visit us, okay?
I will. Take care now, small green walkers.
Also wenn man den Leuten hilft, wird man jetzt auch belohnt.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but what exactly is Eivor chasing down?
Yeah, so here you're seeing Eivor running down one of our tattoo images. So this is challenging the player on free run abilities, but also for fans of the series, sort of pulling at their heartstrings for some beloved features.
Okay.
So are we going to be able to tattoo Eivor?
Yes, by collecting these tattoos,
also
you
man
actually
muss
bring them
diese
to back to your settlement, and then you can customize different body
Tattoo-Papiere
parts, having
sammeln
different tattoos
durch
everywhere.
so
again,
Parkour
another form
runs.
of expression,
Ziemlich cool.
and it's sort of to represent that Viking culture.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred, but I knew that because there was a chest in there must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back and, you know, found a way in.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that. You're pointing at something that we wanted to work on a lot on Valhalla, where we wanted the exploration to make you
Okay,
feel
also
smarter.
da war eine Barriere an der Tür und er hat jetzt vom Fenster aus die Barrikade mit dem Bogen abgeschossen.
When you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for it a little bit, so it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design, to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
Okay, krass.
Poor victim of someone's fury.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things in the
Alter.
world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now, there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has.
Okay, sie hat irgendwas eingeatmet, so ein Poison oder sowas. Und ja, das hat halt jetzt diesen Bossfight ausgelöst. Ziemlich cool. Sowas, also die wollten sowas Mystisches machen. Und das auf eine logische Art und Weise.
And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
Spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
Alter. Ziemlich geil.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyria?
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much.
Nice, also man kriegt auch mittlerweile die Waffen von den Bossen. Also was heißt mittlerweile? Hat man in Odyssey auch bekommen, aber nicht als so richtig krassen Reward, sondern das war selbstverständlich. Hier ist es ein krasser Reward, weil nicht überall Waffen rumliegen. Das heißt, es wird viel spannender.
So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on on top of another using physics. And I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks, but really it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and just building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns.
These?
Yes. Think of this as a test of mind and wit. Stack the cairn stones high and wide into any shape you like.
I mean, you can spend as much time as you want building these things, making them as high as you want, as weird as you want. I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there. And so that's yours, right? And until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one, it's sort of cool that we were able to give that to players to express themselves.
At this point in the demo,
echt cool. Es gibt so Meditationsorte, wo man Steine stapeln kann und dafür kriegt man dann auch einen Fähigkeitspunkt.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady.
Das ist Oswalds Vermählung, das was wir im Gameplay Leak nicht gesehen haben.
Creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Battles a man can fight, the war
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see, the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or a warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party, it's a Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show that.
Die sagen, geht nicht nur hier um Gemetzel und Kampf, sondern ihr könnt hier auch heiraten und Trinkspiele machen und ja, alles Mögliche halt, was zum Wikinger-Dasein dazugehört.
What's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Yeah, so like anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here you just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Ah, barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all.
My king, he...
So here we see the decision I made to spare Ruid came back to bite us.
Yep, that's the decision you made, coming back. So as we said before, all of your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
I challenge you. I accept.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Arya swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
Also, hier ist die Folge, dass wir Ruud am Leben gelassen haben, also dass er ihn am Leben gelassen hat. Er kommt, um sich zu rächen bei der Hochzeit. Und ja, da kann man sich auch nochmal entscheiden, ob der König selber kämpfen soll oder ob wir für ihn kämpfen sollen. Also ist es quasi strategisch besser, die bösen Anführer direkt umzunieten, anstatt die am Leben zu lassen. Aber dann weiß man halt nicht, welcher böse Feind sich zum Guten entwickeln kann. Was auch nochmal ein Vorteil wäre, ne? Sind ja nicht alle bösen Feinde gleich böse.
And prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated,
nur Ruud scheint halt einer der Bösen zu sein.
Slightly more joyous occasion, but ultimately in all scenarios you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory, and to be a good ally for you.
I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet.
Finir scheint einer der Männer zu sein, die wir beim Raiden mitnehmen können. Er vermisst seine Heimat und wird uns immer zur Stelle sein, wenn wir ihn brauchen. Und uns auf dem Langschiff Geschichten erzählen.
Can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC and Stadia on November 17th.
Also wie ich bereits erwähnte, am 17. November, Leute, kommt Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Und ja, das war's auch schon. Ich hoffe, das Ganze hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns im nächsten Video. Haut rein.